There are 48 mountains in the state of New Hampshire that measure 4,000 feet and above. It's a bit of a thing to get them all done. The Presidential Traverse is perhaps the most famous big hike in the state, and it crosses no less than 8 of those 48 peaks. It's 18 or so miles long, with over 8,000 feet of total elevation gain, and most of the trail is above tree line. The biggest hurdle? The weather. Monday, we hike just to the first campsite. Tuesday, this is the big day. Summit, ridgeline, all the stuff, and then hike back to the car. It's getting a little warmer towards the end of the week, which, I don't know, starting on Tuesday might be wiser, but this is the day. Let's hope it stays calm. Mount Washington is known for having the worst weather in the world, and up in the Alpine zone, there's nowhere to hide. Andrew had already made several attempts at this traverse, but the weather always forced him to turn back. This May, we saw a sunny little window and decided to shoot our shot.
Oh, hi, boyfriend.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
What are you doing?
Got me a sandwich.
I didn't really get you a sandwich.
You did not give me a sandwich.
They made me 2 sandwiches by mistake, so you have a free sandwich. It's a cubit. I don't
Since the trail doesn't loop, we left one car at the end and then carpooled north to Appalachia, the starting point for the traverse.
Wow.
So
Look at all these black flies. This might be the first time I've ever hiked in the month of May. I'm not kidding. Let's take Valley Way all the way up.
Okay.
I took Brookside with Matthias last time. And I do like it. It feels like the superior way, and I feel like there's more access to water. But I have a feeling it's the less tracked trail.
And therefore we might be post-holing.
Yeah.
We chose to do this hike in 3 days. A short 3-ish miles on day 1 gave us plenty of time to drive, park, and hike to camp before dark.
Oh my gosh!
We'd sleep at Valley Way tent site, tucked into the shoulder of Mount Madison, and wake up early to spend day 2 moving quickly up in the snowfields.
Okay, there we go.
We usually don't hike in the springtime. Mud season, as the locals call it, is a time of unsure footing, sloppy trails, challenging river crossings, and slow progress. But you can't argue with a good forecast. Still, by the time we got to camp, I was feeling chilly.
Didn't take long at all.
Wow, it was quick.
You got them beans?
Got them beans. And tomorrow, I have beef pasta marinara.
Me too.
Oh yeah?
Oh, my feet are warming up.
waking up to sunshine felt like such a gift. With 12 miles to go and unknown conditions ahead, we made quick work of breakfast and made for the summit of Mount Madison. This was our first decision point. It would be reasonable to summit Madison and hike right back to the car. But the weather looked good, so we pushed toward Mount Adams. The trail was covered in steep little snowfields that made me grateful for my micro spikes. Yeah, this was definitely a two hands on my trekking poles kind of deal.
I'm gonna be honest, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Put that away. There's a big spinner up here.
What?
I like how there's a sign indicating directions, but no sign that says this is the summit again.
Decision point number 2. From Adams, we could head down the airline trail to Valley Way and back to the car. The wind was picking up, but the route to Jefferson looked deliciously flat and hard-packed.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
I'm feeling okay.
All right.
Let's do it. Okay. To Jefferson.
The snow made a superhighway all the way to Jefferson, and the views were freaking cool.
Adams, Sam Adams, and Abigail Adams.
There is an Abigail Adams?
Yeah, I told you there was.
I didn't know there were any mountains in this state named after women.
There's a bolt.
There's a bolt. Oh! There's a bolt on that rock.
This was our final decision point. Turn here or else commit to the rest of the 12 miles across the ridgeline and down to Nauman tent site. The wind was at our backs. Seemed like as good a day as any to get the thing done.
Alright. Mount Washington.
Mount Washington was the only peak on this traverse that I'd already summited a few times. If you like scrambling, I cannot recommend the Huntington's Ravine Trail enough as a summer hike. It is absolutely magical. But I'd never come up this shoulder.
I can see the Mount Washington Hotel. It's somewhere down there.
We marched up alongside the Cog Railway and briefly became a tourist attraction before reaching the weather station summit, thoroughly sunburned from the snow. I've had trouble with my knees for the last couple of years, and as soon as we got moving again, they kind of activated. I slowed down considerably. We had too many miles left to start limping now.
Coming down off the side of Washington. I started going downhill. My IT bands got really tight. And then I got stabbing knee pain. And I don't want that to happen because most of the rest of the trip is downhill. This is the part of the trip I was most concerned about, honestly, when I'm tired and it's downhill. But Advil.
The Appalachian Mountain Club maintains a system of huts in the White Mountains, including Madison Spring Hut, Lake of the Clouds Hut, and as you'll see later on, Mitzpah Spring Hut. In the summertime, you can book a bunk and hike in to receive a delicious dinner, complete with homemade bread and breakfast in the morning. I would love to do this traverse as a hut-to-hut, but in May, the windows are still pretty much boarded. Mount Monroe was a quick, steep little hike with great views. Then we turned our sights on Eisenhower. Let me tell you, there are a lot of little hills along the way that look like they might be Eisenhower, but they are not.
I'm getting tired.
It is the last possible hill of all the hills it might be, and by the time you reach it, you are ready for a nap. But you cannot nap, because you must descend into the sloppy spring snow in the forest in order to reach Mount Pierce, and then descend again down the washed-out Webster Cliff Trail to Nauman Tent Site, where you can finally stop walking.
I'm still ready to go home.
Everything hurts. Fuck.
Like the first mile and a half off of Jackson looks like it's downhill.
Yeah.
But like the traverse down quote unquote Webster Cliff Trail looks really mellow. Like, you gonna come back for it?
Yeah.
We still had a morning of hiking ahead of us. But with only one summit left and blue skies, we knew we'd get it done. Mount Jackson, by the way, happened to be Andrew's 48th out of 48 4,000 footers. This was an extra special summit.
It's not a bad one to end on.
It's not. Let's get off this summit.
Yo!
Of all the hikes I've done in New England, I think this was the most rewarding. The views to mileage ratio is ridiculously high, and doing it in May meant no crowds, no bugs, no humidity.
We were one day away from getting towed.
It was awesome. After I left Andrew with his car at Appalachia, I stopped by one of my favorite coffee shops, feeling happy to be back in civilization, but also kind of like an observer from another world.